If you haven't previously read section 1 of your textbook, please do so. More specifically, check out pages 1 to 5, which focus on thinking and reading like an academic writer. Since you're being asked to do these very things right now and up through the submission of your final research position paper, understanding how an academic writer thinks and reads is incredibly important. If you've read those pages and feel like you have a fairly good grasp on how to proceed, you're entering the brainstorming and planning phases of this project. You've read a few academic articles so far. Hopefully, you read them thoroughly and provided a complete summary and a careful analysis for each of those articles. Why were you asked to do that? Because in order to delve into the finer details of what writers in your field are talking about, you must have an understanding of how those writings are composed. Note this, though, not all of these writers are good. Yeah, I just said that. Not all academic writers are good writers, even if they've been published. That's why we task you with carefully reading these heavy, sometimes boring academic articles. Not only are they the gateway to understanding how writers in your field are expected to compose texts, but they'll also give you a chance to formulate some questions about how and why these things are being said and who's saying them. If you've begun reading several articles with the same issue, problem, occurrence, or topic being discussed, then you're probably starting to note that they all approach the issue from various angles or discuss the topic in different ways. Maybe they did different research, maybe they have different conclusions, something is different. Why do those differences exist? Be careful with considering that question because it becomes very easy to fall into a good versus bad dichotomy. We're not saying that one author is wrong while the other is correct. Not at all, in fact. You're being asked to discuss the similarities and differences amongst the various viewpoints that authors present, being careful to analyze these similarities and differences thoroughly. You're not presenting a solution to the problem, idea, occurrence, or way of thinking. Your essay instead should focus on exploring the problem, issue, idea, occurrence, or way of thinking in order to present a contextualized discussion. This means that every article you use to write this essay will need to be critically read, understood, and analyzed. You cannot synthesize one author's idea with another's or with your own perspective without doing that. Synthesis is essentially blending multiple ideas together to create a new idea. The synthesis that I will expect to see in your essays must be thoroughly done and will exist as author-to-author synthesis, author-to-thesis synthesis, writer to thesis, and author to writer synthesis. In this instance, you are the writer. The authors of the articles will be considered the authors. Let's break this down to a very simple scenario. Author A says something, and author B seems to say the exact opposite of what author A is saying. But if we consider these as existing within the same conversation about this something, what do these differences mean for the larger discussion? How do these differences exist, rhetorically, fundamentally? Chances are these ideas seem very familiar to you if you took English 111 here at Mid-Michigan Community College. If you didn't, or if you just like a quick refresher, a quick Google or Wikipedia search might help you in becoming more familiar with the terms problematization and synthesis. Sir Ken Robinson's Changing Education Paradigms is a fantastic visual representation of what you're being asked to do and is available by RSA Animate on YouTube.